Let's move forward, though. Something that is a little bit more fun. One of our favorite segments on this show. We got one final prediction level. What's more likely, Kevin? This is the last one going into a race weekend this season before we start just predicting broad strokes of what's going to happen in 2026 and beyond. But we have a little bit of that peppered in here. A little spoiler alert. But it's what's more likely, ladies and gentlemen. Abu Dhabi edition. This is what we do heading into every single race weekend. We make this fun. We want you guys to engage. You let us know what you guys think down in the comments below as we ask and respond and speculate on all of these questions. Kevin, I know you got a good what's more likely. I'm going to let you start us off here. What do you got this week, Khaki Kevin Walker?
How do you know it's good? I didn't tell you.
I'm trusting you. I'm putting my faith in you as my friend, as my co-host, as my colleague. Hopefully you got a good question.
What's more likely?
It'll be a good one. These people clicked on the video to watch this.
What's more likely for the final time in 2025? The fight for P2 is over in Constructors' title, or the fight for P7 is over in the Constructors' title. And before you answer, before you even think, Tristan Rines, Mercedes is in second place in the Constructors' title fight with 459 points. Red Bull Racing right behind them with 426. In the seventh position is Aston Martin with 80 points. Behind them is Haas with 73. And then behind them, Kick Sauber with 68. So again, I will ask my question.
Basically, you're asking me. Let me make sure I understand this question in case it was a little confusing because I want to make sure I got it right. Basically, P2 is going to be won by Mercedes or P7 is going to be won by Aston Martin. Is that what's more likely here in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's the
which one do you think has more flexibility for other teams to win?
Well, admittedly, I think that the fight for P2 is basically over. Mercedes could have locked it up in Qatar. That was one of the things that Kimi Antonelli allowing Lando Norris to pass by kind of left that door open. Ferrari are saddled into P4. They're out of this fight. Technically speaking, Red Bull are the only other team who could jump Mercedes. It's a tough, it would be a tough prospect. It would take something pretty drastic to happen, but I would say Mercedes fight is over. I think that the fight for P7 is a lot more open. Down the pecking order, and shout out to VCAR, by the way, for locking up P6, because a few weeks ago, that was the question. P7, though, Aston Martin have been very inconsistent this season. They were a team that I expected to be P5, and shout out to your boys at Williams, because they proved me wrong all year and locked it up. Carlos Sainz kicking ass.
My second favorite team.
That's right. I think we were all kind of rooting for Williams, to be fair. I'm really
They're a fun team to root for.
Carlos Sainz, Albon, etc. But to get on this point, I just think that Aston Martin have a lot more of a vulnerable position. Haas have been pretty good this year. Need I remind you, by the way, that Esteban Ocon did not get a chance to drive in Abu Dhabi last year. There was a going away helmet for Alpine that he didn't get a chance to wear and don on a race weekend because they decided they want to put Jack Doohan in the car 1 week early. So Ocon's got a little bit of something to prove here. And Ollie Bearman has been very good this season, especially down the stretch. If not for a botched pit stop in Qatar, he probably finishes in the points. And the stewards lit him up. They decided we're going to save the engine for Abu Dhabi, basically. So, yeah, there is a lot of meat left on this bone. There is the potential that Haas can sneak back into P7 and finish this season strong. P8's still a good result for them, understandably, but P7 is that much nicer.
I think Ollie Bearman, off the top of my head, I think he has the most P10 finishes this year. I think he has like 3, maybe 4. And I can't name a whole bunch of other drivers that have more than that. So
he's hovered around that spot a lot this year. I brought it up earlier when I was talking about how special he was. He's been very consistent this year in being around those points.
I agree with you. It's only a 7-point difference between Haas and Aston Martin. I think if they could overtake Aston Martin, that would be a huge success for them this year for two drivers that have done pretty good jobs, especially Ollie Bearman.
Could you imagine if Ollie Bearman is the spoiler for Lando Norris? Like Ollie manages like a P4 or a P5 or something and keeps Lando away from the podium or something?
I'd be more worried about Williams at this point, see what Carlos Sainz was able to do. I mean, he essentially fended off Kimi Antonelli and Lando Norris at the same time.
With a waning car, by the way.
Yeah. With a waning car. Yeah, it was insane. Because I was sitting there. I know this is kind of off topic, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, Lando versus Kimi. How poetic. This is how it's going to go. And I'm like, all right, let's see if Lando can catch him. And so I'm sitting there, I'm watching. I'm like, man, he's kind of struggling. Like he's not really catching him. And then I look and they're like almost in DRS range of Carlos Sainz. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, I wasn't even watching that. And then I had a crazy vision that Lando Norris had a double pass. And then of course that didn't happen. But it was really cool in my head. So I think to answer my own what's more likely, I think that the fight for P7 is more interesting, and I hope that Haas takes it.
Yeah, that gives us a little, in case things somehow end up boring at the front on Sunday, that's something that you can kind of like keep in the back of your mind as you like look down the.
It can be boring. It can be boring with Lando Norris up front. I'll watch that race all through.
I bet you'd like that. Look, we got a number of these to go still, though. I'm going to lead off with mine. One of my first questions, anyway. What's more likely, Khaki Kevin Walker? One of our top three, I kind of alluded to this earlier, one of our top three DNFs or none of them cross the line first?
All right, so one of the top three DNFs or none of them finish first?
Yeah.
None of them finish first.
Really? You think that they're all going to survive the entire race?
I mean, Charles Leclerc could
pass.
Charles, I could see George just doing nothing and winning the race somehow. I would lean that way. That's not think it's P1.
Like I've said, man, I've got this hair standing up on the back of my neck that's telling me.
I swear, if I'm watching the race and I see it, I'm calling you. If I'm watching the race and I see it, I'm calling you. And I'm like, you're a psycho.
There's something here. I don't know how else to describe it. There's a gut feeling that one of these three are not finishing this race.
Okay, do you have a gut feeling on who?
I couldn't tell you that. But I just don't think it's going to be. It's one of these three. I don't know why.
It's really simple. It's either papaya or it's not. Okay, that's all I need to know from your gut.
My vision has not let me see that far into the future. All I know is there's something ominous ahead. I had a fun question from a friend of the show, Bennett. What's more likely, Kimi Antonelli to finish above Lewis Hamilton in the World Drivers' Championship standings with a margin of just 2 points? Or Oscar Piastri finishes above Max Verstappen with a margin of 4 points. Correct.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
This takes Lando Norris out of the equation. This is just simply.
I'm going to answer with both. I think they both overtake their respective drivers in this question. I think Kimi can overtake Lewis, and I think Oscar will overtake Max.
What's more likely, Kevin, is the actual name of this segment.
Okay, fine. I think Kimi overtaking Lewis. I think Kimi overtaking Lewis is more likely.
I would have to agree, and it's not.
I'm just trying to double down.
Fandom. It has nothing to do with my fandom. I know your hopium is high. Look, I get it. I think it's Kimi though. I think Lewis has given up. I hate to say it. I think dude has given up.
He's playing all his vacations for the offseason.
He's already got his vacations and obligations booked and ready to go. You're going to see him in Denver, Colorado in the playoffs. He'll be there rooting for his Broncos because he's a partial owner. Yeah, he's thinking about the offseason already. He's ready to get
out. He's thinking about 26.
Done and dusted. I think Kimi Antonelli is going to finish above him in the championship. With only a 2-point margin in this final weekend, especially with the way the Mercedes has looked and how good Kimi has looked down the stretch, it's going to be Kimi. Another fun question for you. This one coming from myself.
Good question, Bennett.
Thank you. Yeah. Congrats. I mean, Bennett likes helping out with these. I got to get him. We got to get him on the show one of these days. Another one for myself. What's more likely, Lewis Hamilton or Ollie? This is a far out one. Lewis Hamilton or Ollie Bearman are driving for Ferrari in 2027.
Oh,
Not 26. Of course, we already know Lewis is going to be there. This is my fun one.
Lewis Hamilton. I'm gonna stick with Lewis. I don't think he's gonna give up after 2 years.
I don't know if it's a matter of giving up.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna stick with Lewis. Lewis.
You think 2026 you'll have a little more confidence and Ferrari are going to keep it? Because
I don't hope so.
I think,
dude, I'm telling you right now, if Ferrari doesn't crack 2026, they could be in a world in 2027 where they have no Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc because you don't want the hell out of there.
Yeah, he'll finally have said enough, and that's another question for another day. But man,
Ferrari needs 2026, bro.
They need 2026 in the worst way. It is an all or nothing, and the reports of what they've got going on for 2026 have been. They're going for an ambitious approach.
They need to.
Which does not mean it is going to be perfect. I will say this. If Ferrari stresses my man Lewis out for one more year, no matter how well groomed and how well put together he is, we might see a couple of gray hairs creeping up. I think Ollie Bearman's driving for Ferrari in 27, if you're asking me today. And it has more to do with Ferrari than I think Lewis. I think if Lewis was in a motivated car, so to speak, I think that he would be just as motivated. But I hate to say it, I just don't have as much faith in Ferrari to succeed these next regulations based on history. They just
and then Lewis Lewis can come back into McLaren in 2027 because Oscar will want to go somewhere else and be driver number one, and we can ride off into the sunset. I'm down. All right, I'm with it.
This championship this weekend is going to have a lot to do. Is going to have a lot of implications and a lot of impact on what every driver lineup, especially for McLaren, though, is going to look like for the future. Because one of these dudes is going to win it. One of these three. If it's neither of them, then maybe they stay united. But if it's one or the other, I mean, someone's going to make a decision.
Yeah.
Another one from Bennett. What's more likely? Both Ferraris finish in the top 5 or both Williams finish in the top 10?
Both Williams in the top 10. Easy. That's just so easy.
I agree with that. Yeah, Ferrari have been such a mess.
Bro, I can't even
talked about Ferrari a lot this weekend. They just
I would adjust the what's more likely. What's more likely? A Ferrari to finish in the top 5 or both Williams finish in the top 10? And I would still stick with Williams in the top 10.
I think Charles would at least hit the top top 10, but I'm gonna go with Williams for the way the question was written. Ferrari again, they botched it. I think Charles is another one of those guys that if you're a Lando Norris fan, if Lando gets maybe a bad start or something, that Charles is maybe holding him up, maybe keeping the window open for Oscar, who knows? But I think Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz have a good opportunity to do well. The last time there was a title fight in Abu Dhabi, though, there was a very unfortunately timed crash by a Williams that changed some things. So, I don't want to. I'm just hoping history doesn't repeat itself for Williams.
Don't want to be.
Another question, a final question from another friend of the show who has not been on yet, but maybe in 2026 we'll get him on. Ryan the Breadman, that's what he likes to be called. What's more likely? We see Yuki Tsunoda in an F1 Grand Prix again, or he moves on to another series? You think this could be the future forever from now?
I think we'll see him in another Grand Prix. Because eventually Cadillac, there's a couple of teams. I think of Cadillac and I think of Audi that might want to switch up to some younger drivers. And I think the Yuki Tsunoda still qualifies as he's a veteran for sure, but he's still also like a youngish driver. I think that when one of those teams needs a reliable guy that's not near retirement, they're going to look Yuki Tsunoda's way. I think Yuki Tsunoda could find himself in a Formula One seat again.
This is not to degrade Yuki, but this is more of just understanding what his position is and where he has been and the results he's gotten. He's gotten a little bit stronger as this year's gone along, I'll admit. 2020, he's already talked about how he's moving on to 2027. Of course, there's nothing he can really do about 26 except for the role he has, but he's talked about aiming for 27, trying to get back on the grid, and what that's going to mean to him. I just don't have as much faith, unfortunately, in F1 teams to go to the Yuki Tsunoda well. I don't know that he's going to be far and away the best option available by the time that 2027's market really starts firing up. I would be a bit surprised, but I would love to see Yuki driving in some other series. I know there might be some intrigue in IndyCar. He's still young enough that he could have a very, very strong career in Indy with the right team. I don't know that he would necessarily want to go to Formula Japan, but obviously it'd be a lot more closer to home. I would love to see him maybe doing endurance racing at some level. Yuki's got a future ahead of him in motorsport for sure, excuse me, especially with Honda's partnership. But I don't know that he's going to be suiting up for another Grand Prix Sunday anytime soon. I just don't know that I have that much level of faith